from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. So glad that you're joining us today. And we are at NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville, Tennessee, getting to meet with the media movers and shakers in the Christian film industry, television, print, media, all of it. And so we have an exciting show for you today. Those of you who know author Eric Metaxas, you may or may not know he has a film out. And listen to this title of this film, Letter to the American Church. Have you ever thought about if Paul, if Jesus, if John the Revelator were to write a letter to the American church, to America, what would he say? Well, this film answers that. And today, I'm so thrilled. We have the co-writers, co-directors, and co-producers of this film right here on the sofa of the Three. And it is you ladies, two ladies. Okay, we were talking about just even the rarity of that. And so joining us here are Simone Alex and Rachel Tash. And so, ladies, welcome, first of all, to the Three, because we were talking about beforehand, while we don't ascribe to feminism, you cannot deny this is rare that you ladies have done this. And not just co-written, co-produced, co-directed, but my goodness, in under a year, you pushed this through. Now, I know enough about filmmaking to know that what precedes pre-production is funding. And so you wind up with, I can't even imagine what the story is before the writing, producing, and directing. But welcome to the show, and I want to hear all about that process in a moment. But first, let's tell everybody why this film is so important. Because it's not just important to the American church. It's important to the world, because there are forces, there are political forces, things that happened in the last 75, 80 years. It's not been that long. Let's start even just with Germany, but we're describing communism, Marxism, these things that have infiltrated, believe it or not, the church, the American church now. Why don't we start with you, Simone? Just tell us, maybe Eric's vision, the book, in case someone's not read it. Let's start there. What is the book about?
Well, Eric wrote a book some years ago, I think it was approximately 10 years ago, about Dietrich Bonhoeffer.
Right.
And it was a bestseller.
It was.
And it really wasn't a Christian book or a non-Christian book. It was just a book about Dietrich Bonhoeffer's life. And Bonhoeffer was a pastor and a theologian from Germany and I'm actually reading the book right now, which is funny because I made this whole film and now I'm going back to read. I didn't have time to actually read the book. Prequel. So he was a pastor and a theologian who called on the German church actually through the war after Hitler took over, but he started sounding the alarm right as Hitler was taking power. I think even the day before or the day after, it was his radio interview called the Führer Principle we talk about in the film, about what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a godly leader, and what it means to be an ungodly leader. And he didn't say any names, but he was presenting the situation. Sure. And in the middle of that radio interview, he was cut off. Okay. And so it was basically, Big Brother, the totalitarian regime, who didn't like what he was saying and canceled him. So Bonhoeffer went on to start the Confessing Church with some other pastors and theologians. There were 18,000 pastors in Germany. There were 6,000 at that time. There were 6,000 that stood staunchly against Hitler and 6,000 that stood with Hitler. So on the parallel opposites.
I did not know that. My husband read Bonhoeffer, but I had no idea it was so split down the middle.
And then in the middle, so 6,000, but right in the middle were 12,000 who remained completely silent. And so what Eric's point is to this film is that we want to take a look at what's happening in America right now, and how is the church split with Marxism and cultural Marxism. There are pastors who are totally supporting everything that cultural Marxism stands for, and every organization that stands for cultural Marxism, BLM, LGBTQ movement, all of these things.
I was going to say, hang on.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, because that is, do they know? Do they really know that what they're supporting when they support that? I know that's a side topic.
Yeah,
but
we can go into that.
It's hard to believe that a typical American pastor, being one myself, and I'm from a different mindset, I'm very conservative.
Right.
But it's hard to believe, and like you said in Germany, there's those 12,000, let's just call them swing voters. There are those churches that they need educating.
That's what the film does.
And that's what the film and the book. Okay, keep going.
So there are people who stand staunchly with cultural Marxism, which we go all through in the film very succinctly, so that you can understand it, and really even a person who has no understanding of what the history of Marxism is, or cultural Marxism as it is today, if they don't understand it, we're going to walk them through it. But then there are pastors who are awake to what's happening. And so those pastors have stood up and spoken out. We go to a church in California where the pastor's been speaking out, and those pastors have been persecuted. So when they refused to comply with the lockdowns in 2020, they were fined, they were ostracized, they were kicked out of their organizations. They had gotten warning letters. If you don't start shaping up, you're going to be kicked out of this denomination as a pastor. So we basically, we take a real hard look at the church, and it's in some ways it's a rebuke, in some ways it's an exhortation, but the best way to say this is to give the church a kick in the pants to what we've been aligning with for some years.
Kick in the pants.
Well, it's a wake-up call. It's truly a wake-up call to awaken the sleeping giant that has not been active for the past 20 to 30 years in politics. We've been busy working, raising our families, kind of had our head down. We were asleep at the wheel, and look at what has happened in America.
Right.
The pendulum has swung so far to the left. Cultural Marxism has literally invaded everything. It's in our schools, it's in our churches, it's in our government, it's at the library, it's in the big corporations, it's all around us. It is here. It's not something way down the road.
It's not something way down.
It is here and happening now. And if we don't stand up, this next 9 months are pivotal to awaken the church. The largest voting bloc in America is the evangelicals.
There you go.
60 million people. Half of those are registered to vote. Half of them show up for an election to actually vote. So they talk about, a lot of evangelicals talk about, we can't make change, we can't do anything. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do something.
You can at the very least get out and vote. We had a show guest yesterday that said 25 million Christians in America do not vote. So after the break, let's jump into a little bit more of that, because we do need to awaken the sleeping giant. There's a lot of us that don't know we're asleep. And let me tell you, it's not being woke. It's a great awakening. That's what we really need. So come right back after the break. Stay close. Some people don't yet realize that essential oils were put by God into our leaves, trees, flowers, and grasses on the third day of creation, all to promote health, provide prevention, and yes, even cures. Other people get that, but maybe they've never had any real success with one particular essential oil, which is why I create oil blends, giving you a better chance for a positive result with numerous health benefits. But there's one thing we all agree upon, and that is that essential oils smell good. They fill up a room with any mood that you need, anytime that you need it. We call it aromatherapy. But maybe you don't know the science behind why aromatherapy works. You see, we inhale through our nasal passages, and the nasal passages have direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. This means that scent is immediately tied to mood, but that's good news because you can change your mood by merely changing the aroma in your room. It's like therapy in a bottle, and that's why we call it aromatherapy. At Neuromatics Oil, we take the business of aromatherapy very seriously. We offer you a wide variety of options: candles, diffuser sets, nasal inhalers, even diffuser jewelry so that you can wear your essential oils all day long. Quiet Brain for natural relief from insomnia, anxiety, headache, and more. Happy Brain to lift mood and even help with appetite suppression and depression. And Sharp Brain to help with focus and cognitive memory issues. Naturally, the oil blends themselves, applied topically on the skin, are going to provide faster and more potent relief. But if you're looking for a way to enjoy our oil blends without using them on the skin, aromatherapy is for you. And Neuromatics Oil has you covered. Go to neuromaticsoil.com today, or use your phone and scan the QR code on your screen with your camera app, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
Did you know that there are more than 600 Bible references to aromatic plants and essential oils? Did you know that once upon a time they were our only medicines? They're still medicine today. You see, God made plants and their essential oils to support your health. They're drug-free remedies that can be used from the comfort of your own home with little to no side effects. And although only 5% of natural products get patented, my oil blends, Quiet Brain, Happy Brain, and Sharp Brain, did, because third-party lab tests proved that they crossed the blood-brain barrier with potent relief for everything from migraines to memory loss, insomnia, anxiety, seizures, weight problems, even depression. So go to neuromaticsoil.com today to see my patented oil blends, and there are dozens of therapeutic products, healing lotions, bubble baths, nasal inhalers, even shampoo and conditioners, all created by our family for the health of yours. Go to neuromaticsoil.com or use your phone and camera app to scan the QR code on your screen, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Three. I'm Laura. You know who Eric Metaxas is. Today you have met the, oh my goodness, writers, producers, directors. I'm sure if we peek under the hood a little bit more, we'll see everything else that you did, of his new film, Letter to the American Church. Rachel and Simone, this is, when I think of how important this is right now to America, not just to the American church, but that we've got to awaken that sleeping giant of the church to help save our nation. Mm-hmm. It is going to come down to, I believe, those pastors. We're going to watch a trailer in just a moment that mentions our seminaries. This message of communism and Marxism has infiltrated our universities, even our theological seminaries. So before the break, I had to cut you off a little bit. Keep going with that theme on what exactly it's going to take and why this film specifically, this concise film, which I love, it's like 60 minutes, is tailor-made, like the elixir for that problem, if we can get out and watch it.
I mean, it's hard for people to get through a whole book. Eric's book, he's written 40. This is the shortest book he's written. It has so much information in it, so much rich history about what happened in Germany. The film goes into what Mao did in China. Very similar tactics that are being utilized today. We talk a little bit about Stalin, Mother Russia, where that term came from, turning your kids over, what they did in China and Russia, and what we're seeing happening here. You know, Biden and Harris have said these are not your kids, they're our kids. Yeah. Give them over to us. Yeah. We will raise them. Mm-hmm. We will teach them. And we see a heavy indoctrination happening with our kids in the public schools. And we need to awaken moms and families all over America to say, no, we're not going to allow this. We need to get back to the Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded on.
That's right.
The entire world is looking to America to stand up because all the other countries have had this happen. People have fled these countries and come here and have said, I've come here because that happened where I lived, Argentina, China, Russia, you know, all over. And they come here and they say, it's happening here. You need to wake up. You need to stand against this. We need to take back our government, take back our schools, and really start to re-educate what is going on and start to change the minds here. So how can you do it? You can get involved locally. We have on our website, lettertotheamericanchurch.com. You can go and there's nationwide organizations that you can get involved with. We have tons of great people in the film. We have Victor and Eileen Marks. We have Seth Gruber. We have Dr. James Lindsay, Charlie Kirk, you know, of course, from Turning Point. So there's lots of these organizations you can get involved in. If you want to help canvass, you want to, you know, get out the vote, you can join that. You want to be a part of a pro-life organization. You want to learn how to homeschool your kids. We have all of that on our site that you can get involved immediately after watching the film. And that's what the film's about, is it's a call to action for people to get up.
That's what I was describing a moment ago, is that it's not just the writing, producing, and directing. That in under a year, my jaw is still dropped. But the fact that I know what this involves, the call to action component where you actually involve the nation. And I understand what you're saying about we do need that corporate involvement, but the collective raising of our children, the Biden comment you mentioned, even when Obama said, you didn't build that, it's, or Hillary saying it takes a village. I've seen some people in the village and they don't go to church, know, and
we'll
so
see that
this
in the film.
there is definitely, so I understand that collective raising, it matches very similarly with how we do need each other. So I understand the basis for their comments, but at the core of it is this, your children belong to us. Everything you do belongs to everyone else, and it's not the case. We have to take back our families. We have to take back our households. We have to take back our churches. So tell us logistically, where can they watch the film? I know we're streaming, so where can they watch it? And I know there's changes coming even in the next few months on that. So you want to take
message,
that, Simone?
you can say where it is, but the message, it's so powerful. We wanted to get it out as fast as possible. So a theatrical release is a very long release.
It is.
So we decided put it out streaming. We have 9 months before the election. We wanted, people to see it and understand it. So you can tell everyone.
So we released on Epoch Times, Epoch TV. So Epoch Times is the 4th largest print publication in the world. So they have a newspaper. They also have an online reach.
They do,
They have millions of followers, millions of people reading their emails every day. What a lot of people don't know, and one of the reasons why we went with them is because the owners of the company, they fled communist China and came to America for freedom, and they're seeing exactly what is happening here that happened there, because they came here they gave up everything to come here for freedom, and now they're seeing their freedom stripped away. And so they are fighting. Imagine immigrants who are fighting for our country harder than the churches. So we just felt compelled to go with them. And so it's streaming on Epoch TV. You can watch as a subscriber, non-subscriber. Then it's going to be available on our website. Please go to lettertotheamericanchurch.com where you can purchase DVDs. We're actually going to have some really cool merchandise coming out, which are great conversation starters. People are starting to do Bible studies all over the country surrounding this. Pastors are waking up, churches are waking up, and one of the most interesting things that we're doing is we're doing a free church tour across the country, which we thought was going to be across the country, thousands of churches. We now have churches screening in Canada, UK, and Italy. And I just had a request from Brazil a couple of days ago. And so this is because people in other countries, again, look to America as the beacon, as the tip of the spear of where the world's going to go. But not only that, when people who are behind Canadian lines, people in the UK, they see what's happening. And our American church, I mean, it used to be back in, I remember the 80s, it was bake sales and, Joyce Meyer
community
and
involvement.
Beth Moore Bible studies and whatever. And it's like, don't get involved in politics. We don't get involved in politics. And that is precisely the problem, is that the church has misinterpreted scripture to believe that we are not supposed to get into politics. But really, the ecclesia was meant to be as if it was the city hall or the town square, where the church governed. And so we've taken church and state and we've made it
the separation of church and state.
You can't get that.
Right, and we tell our congregation, Eastgate here in Nashville, all the time, God is government. So God is different than government is different than politics. I understand that, but that's a fascinating delineation there. So I want to show the trailer. Oh, so much else that I want to say about everything that you just said. It's amazing. So it's incredible to me, everything you guys have done with the film. You got 4 kids between you, and you need to be a preacher. So, but let's toss to this trailer, because it's going to you're going to understand everything that we're talking about. When you understand the landscape of what happened in our world in the last century and what's happening today. Watch this.
Churches need to understand really what Marxism is, which is to destroy the church, to destroy the Word of God. The church is weakening, which is why Marxism is ascendant in America today.
Wow, that was powerful.
Yes, we have DVDs as well.
All right.
And then if you feel compelled, you want to show it in your church, you can go onto the website and sign up for that church screening there. And we have a team of people that will reach out and get it all booked in your church. Right now we have over 200 churches screening the film. Every state in America is screening the film.
There are pastors
if your
right now
pastor
hearing
won't
this.
show it, you need to get out of that church and look on our site and find a church in the area that is showing
Don't
it
get
and then
out of
go
your
there.
church. Go to your
You
pastor
run.
and say, we have to this film at our church. All right, back after the break, everybody. So you're on our website trying to select your favorite products or maybe put a gift package together for a friend. Well, we've done the work for you. Our Pause package encourages rest and contains 1 Quiet Brain healing lotion, therapeutic bubble bath, and a Quiet Brain 50-hour burn candle. Our Uplift package gives you a real mood boost with a Happy Brain candle, healing lotion, and bubble bath. The Self-Care package contains the Quiet Brain healing lotion, bubble bath, and healing shampoo and conditioner. Our Awaken package is made with our Sharp Brain blend and includes 1 nasal inhaler, 1 dropper bottle of oil, 1 bottle of healing lotion, and a Sharp Brain candle. The Sweet Dreams package is popular because it contains 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain oil, 1 satin sleep eye mask, and a copy of my best-selling book, Seeing the Voice of God, What God is Telling You Through Dreams and Visions. And don't forget our Quiet Brain gift box, our best value, with a sampling of almost all Quiet Brain products. 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight Diffuser, 1 dropper bottle of oil, a nasal inhaler, candle, shampoo and conditioner set, and even a satin sleep eye mask. But my personal favorite is our trio oil sets that allow you to sample all 3 of our patented Neuromatic oil blends while only paying for 2. They're available in dropper bottles, rollerball bottles, and our eyedropper pump bottle. Scan the QR code on your screen, go to neuromaticsoil.com, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
Hi everybody, I'm Laura. You're watching The 3. We are here today with the directors, producers, and writers, and so much more, movers and shakers, of the new Eric Metaxas film, Letter to the American Church. Ladies, I don't even know how, in the few minutes that we have left, to convey the importance of this film to our nation, to Americans, to the world, because the world is watching America and always has been. We've always been a heralder of things coming on the earth. But let's get really practical with this, okay? How does this affect individual households, our children? When we're talking about things like Marxism and communism, we're still in a generation that thinks, oh, that won't come to my house. That's never going to get me. It's already bitten every one of us. Tell us how, just a snippet of how, Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a big push right now with the trans agenda, LGBTQ, they're in the schools. You know, they're asking kids to not tell their parents. They're starting to put these ideas in. They're changing the books, inserting things into the curriculum without parents knowing or realizing. Parents need to be very engaged. They need to look at the books their kids are reading, look at the lesson plans, especially if your kid's in a public school. I would say take your kid out of a public school. It's government funded, and they are not teaching your kid the values.
Right.
You need to be teaching your kids, you know, if you can get them to a private school, Christian school, or homeschool.
We homeschool all 6 of
that.
ours, but I love it. You said that you are on a school board.
Yes, at my
that
school.
tells me so much
my
about.
kids are in a private Christian school.
We have got to get on school boards, private and
it starts
public.
locally. That's really what
It
this
really
is
does.
about. Is how can you affect change? Get involved. Who's on your school board in your community?
Right.
Do you know your mayor of your town? Do you know your city council?
have to get involved.
Those are the people that are affecting your lives. They're the ones putting in the policies in your community. It's not so much about DC. This is sort of a bottom approach
really
and bubbles up.
Well,
We need
because
to
the
take
enemy's a
back.
patient investor. So
Yeah.
a hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So
Yes.
he has decided to infiltrate our homes. Why does he hate our families? Because he doesn't have one. Oh my gosh, I could just go on forever about that one.
Well,
so
the BLM
why
movement is to break up the nuclear
movement,
family. You'll see that in our film. They're trained Marxists.
Yes.
It comes out of their mouth. Everything that's in our film is literally from, as Simone would say, the horse's mouth. We don't cut or alter anything. It's all been heavily
amazing.
vetted by lawyers. And these people say
Okay.
it. They're not hiding their agenda.
No, they're not hiding their agenda.
They're telling you, we want to break up the family and give them to us, and then we will
Yeah.
raise them. We will teach them the ideas that we think are important. And no, you don't need to have a family. You can be an independent woman, and then you can just freeze your eggs, and then it'll be all fine. Go after your career.
It really
That's
all
the
put
other thing
together.
I want to tie into a little bit off topic, but we're talking about women that made this film. They've taken this feminism movement of saying, okay, this is it's don't have kids, it's be brash, it's be all of these things that are one way, and I think that the church really wanted to separate themselves from it. So and I'm not saying this in all cases, but this film has a woman named Eileen Marks. If you don't know who she is, you should look her up. Victor and Eileen Marks. Eileen Marks is a warrior mama. She is a warrior mama. We have some other warrior mamas in there too. But women in the church, we can be warriors. We can be fighters. In fact, I read a Stacey Eldridge book a long time ago that broke down what a helpmate is. Ezer Kenegdo is what the word is, and it means warrior that stands
I read that.
alongside.
Yes.
Remember that? I will never forget that. I thought, I want to be a warrior who stands alongside my husband. And then God did that. But I was on the city council as well. I stepped off the city council to make this film. But we can affect change in the community. I want to tie one more other thing in with what Rachel was saying, that Stalin and Mao and Hitler went after the kids. They bribed them with meals, candy, and cash to come to the state. In China, the kids were turning against their parents because the state told them their parents were horrible. Wow. Many killed their parents. Many murdered their parents. And you see this particularly in California. The kids are turning against their parents. They're saying, my mom doesn't agree with the gender that I am, so I am going to leave the house. And then the state goes, okay.
The state affirms
They
it.
affirm it. So this is not just with kids. This is in many different aspects. This is in the church. This is if your church bowed for BLM, they were bowing to a Marxist organization.
Wow. I have a good friend who escaped the CCP in China, and he describes communism in a way. He says America has no idea. They have no idea what he escaped. And so what can a house divided against itself not do?
Exactly.
Stand.
Exactly.
So that's why they're going after our homes.
This is a good versus evil agenda. At the end of the day, it's good versus evil. And, the devil and the plan is to break up the family.
It
and to
is.
break up the household and to divide everybody. Because as you just said, a house divided cannot stand. It's the same with this country. If we crumble and fall apart, that's it. There is no more beacon of hope left in the world.
Yeah. If you're a pastor and you're listening, this book and this movie is Letter to the American Church. What's the first thing you need to do?
Well,
That's broad.
Look, this is what I say. I think if you're a pastor, just be willing to receive rebuke if you've gone alongside. There's no condemnation in this. Repent and turn, and watch the film. Get involved with our action points, and lock arms with other pastors who are standing.
Okay. Well, then let's give them the website one more time.
LetterToTheAmericanChurch.com.
LetterToTheAmericanChurch.com. It's on your screen. You can go there to find out how to stream the film, and also, if you're a pastor, if you know a pastor, come on, get it done. Get this thing into your church. Have a private screening. Be responsible for your flock. Scripture tells us as pastors to know the condition of our flocks. And this is what's going on in the American church.
Yeah.
Simone, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you guys.
Bless you.
We will see you next time on The Three.
Churches need to understand really what Marxism is, which is to destroy the church, to destroy the Word of God. The church is weakening, which is why Marxism is ascendant in America today.